The second that the shock wore off, Tyler lunged at me and tried to beat me up, but I was no longer just a weak boy, and while he had gotten himself an office job, I had gotten a job in a factory and was in much better shape. It didn't take much for me to overpower him and to punch him so hard that it knocked him unconscious. During the scuffle, Claire ran out of the house in tears. After the fight ended, I knew that my parents would kick me out anyways after that, so I went straight to my room and packed all of my belongings up and left. Hey there, my name is Jared, and just listen till the end of my story. I doubt that you'll think very highly of me once I've completed my story, but I hope that you will at least think that maybe I'm not entirely in the wrong. So let's start off with saying that my family is pretty rotten. My parents have always pit my brother Tyler and I against one another. They seem to thrive on watching us compete for their love. It was rather exhausting, to be honest. Hey, Mom and Dad. I got a B+ on my latest math test. Well, I got an A+ on my latest math test. Not sure why you think your measly B is something to be proud of. Tyler is right, Jared. Looks like you need to try harder. As if Jared is such an idiot. I'm amazed that he could even get a B at all. They would constantly measure our achievements against what the other could do. Eventually, I got bored of trying to constantly compete and just decided to stop. Instead, I just focused on working on myself and trying to figure things out on my own. As a result, I think that Tyler ended up being a lot closer to our parents than I did. On Tyler's birthday, my parents will get him lots of gifts, including the latest iPhones, whereas on my birthday, if I'm lucky, I will get a home-baked cake from Mom. Often enough, I felt like an outsider in my own family, but it was either that or constantly fight and participate in games for affection and attention, and I really had no interest in that. Since Tyler is older, he left the house first and went off to school and ended up getting a decent job once he graduated, and so he moved into his own apartment. For me, I had decided to go to a local college when I came of age. However, I had a really hard time finding a job, and so I've been living at home while I've saved up enough money to finally be able to afford a place of my own. Then one day, my brother brought home this beautiful woman. Her name was Claire, and the second she walked through the door and greeted my parents and I was incredibly attracted to her. But of course, I kept this to myself, since she was my brother's girlfriend, and I wasn't going to do anything that would jeopardize their relationship. However, as my brother introduced her, I got the feeling that maybe they weren't a very good fit for one another. Hey guys, this is Claire.
It's very nice to meet all of you.
It's very nice to meet you as well.
Tyler has told me so much about you guys, and I just hope...
Okay, that's enough, babe. Hey Dad, did you watch that game last night? If it happened once, even twice, then I could just overlook it as my brother being a bit too excited to introduce us to this new girlfriend, but he constantly interrupted her. It was like he didn't want to give her a chance to talk. It bothered me greatly, but it really wasn't my place to judge their relationship. I suppose it would have bothered me less if the little that I did get to speak to Claire. I found out that we had so much in common. We liked the same movies, music, and even both enjoyed seeing plays and musicals. Something that Tyler absolutely hated. I think I could have spoken to her for hours about plays, but the time came, and the two of them left for the night. A week later, I went to visit my brother and bring him some cookies that our mom baked for him, and when I arrived at their home, Claire answered the door. Instantly, my heart dropped as I noticed that she had a fat lip and a black eye. Hey Claire, how did you get hurt?
Oh, this? Well, I fell down some stairs. I can be very clumsy.
What stairs? You guys live in a bungalow. You don't have stairs.
Oh, well, they were at work.
Claire, those wounds look fresh, and it's Sunday. You had Saturday off from work. Did Tyler do this? Her expression told me that he had, but she was incredibly reluctant to say anything. Until I reached out and held her hand in mine. I did my best to have an expression that told her that she could tell me anything and I wouldn't judge.
Yes. But he didn't mean to. He was just really upset and wasn't really thinking about what he was doing. He swears that it won't happen again.
Do you want me to speak with him?
No. No, please. He swore it would never happen again, and I believe him. Plus, it's probably my fault since I nag him sometimes.
I was so incredibly angry, but I respected her wishes and didn't say anything, although I very much wanted to go and beat him up for hurting such an amazing woman. He truly did not deserve her. But sadly, it wasn't my place to tell him as much. Weeks passed, and I decided to head over to my brother's house to check up on him. Just as before, he wasn't home and Claire was. When she answered the door, I noticed instantly that she had a black eye. I was beyond furious. Claire! Did my brother do that to you? Tell me the truth.
Yes, he did. But what am I supposed to do? It's not like anyone else would want to date or marry me.
Oh, that's just crazy talk. I bet there are millions of men out there that would see you for the beautiful, smart, and funny woman that you are, and wouldn't abuse you like my brother is. I could see that she was entertaining my idea, although what I didn't notice was that she was looking at me with a little desire in her eyes.
Like who? Who would be interested in me?
Well, like someone like me, for example. Our eyes suddenly locked, and we looked deeply at one another, and before either of us knew what was happening, we were kissing each other. And one thing led to another, and we ended up sleeping together. We both knew it was a mistake, but both of us were a better match than my brother and her. However, I just left and went home and tried my best to put what happened between us at the back of my mind. A couple months passed, and Tyler and Claire came over to visit my parents and I, and as soon as they came into the house, Tyler announced that Claire was pregnant. It wasn't even in an excited tone, but rather a very bored and rather displeased one. I could tell that Claire was less than happy with the way he was acting, but I definitely didn't expect what would happen next. Mom and Dad. Claire is pregnant. This is wonderful news. Finally, a grandchild in the family, and our favorite son will be the father. We need to celebrate.
Oh, yes. Oh, Tyler, we are so happy for you. We have done such a wonderful job raising you, and this just confirms that we invested all our effort into a son worthy of carrying our family name to another generation.
I don't think you have enough room in that apartment of yours, which means you should really move in here.
That's a great idea. Jared, that means that you need to move out right away so that Tyler can move in. That way we can take care of you and the new baby as well.
I could tell that Claire was astonished at the way my parents were treated Tyler and I. The amount of praise he was getting, and the way that my parents were just throwing me out surprised her. Of course, it was hardly a surprise for me. Thankfully, I had saved up enough to get my own place and was already planning on moving out shortly anyways. But they didn't know that, and so they're just throwing me out stung.
How can you people treat Jared like this? Has it always been like this?
Yes, it has, but it's okay, Claire. It's nothing new to me.
But it's wrong. And you didn't raise Tyler to be a good son. In fact, you raised a completely selfish and abusive asshole. He not only hits me whenever he gets annoyed or angry, but he has cheated on me with at least 6 different women that I know of, and probably more that I don't. Not only that, but he's too stupid to realize that the baby isn't even his. As soon as I found out that you were cheating on me with so many women, I stopped having sex with you and got myself tested to make sure you hadn't given me a disease. Thankfully, the test came back clean.
Wait a minute. If the baby isn't Tyler's, then whose is it?
It's Jared's baby. The one son that you didn't raise but turned out to be a decent and good man.
Everyone, including me, was shocked. However, while everyone else was angry and mortified, I was elated. Here was this beautiful and intelligent woman singing my praises, and to top it all off, she just announced that she was carrying my child. I had to stop myself from proposing to her right on the spot. The second that the shock wore off, Tyler lunged at me and tried to beat me up, but I was no longer just a weak boy, and while he had gotten himself an office job, I had gotten a job in a factory and was in much better shape. It didn't take much for me to overpower him and to punch him so hard that it knocked him unconscious. During the scuffle, Claire ran out of the house in tears. After the fight ended, I knew that my parents would kick me out anyways after that, so I went straight to my room and packed all of my belongings up and left. It took me a week before I found myself somewhere to live, and shortly after that I got a call from Claire saying that she wanted to meet up for coffee. During our meetup, she told me that she wanted to keep the child and wanted to know if I would be interested in dating her as well. We both knew it would be awkward, but I was more than willing to give it a try. After that fight with my brother, he went off the deep end and began sleeping with as many women as he could. Not only that, but he has also since started using drugs as well, which have caused him to have several run-ins with the police. So much so that my parents, who have been funding his legal battles, are on the verge of losing their house just to keep bailing him out. Which serves them right. As for Tyler himself, not only has he been in and out of jail, but I have heard that he has gotten so many sexually transmitted diseases that his health is constantly poor. As if that wasn't bad enough, he now also walks with the aid of a cane because one of the women he slept with had a jealous husband who found out that Tyler had slept with his wife and shot Tyler. The bullet shattered Tyler's hip, and now he has no balance without his cane. As for Claire and I, we did start dating, and it didn't take long before we realized that we were indeed perfect for one another. Our son was born a little while ago, and not long after that, we got engaged and our wedding will be next year. We rarely talk to my parents or Tyler anymore, and honestly, both of us are okay with that. Neither of us really want to get tangled up with all their drama. It's bad enough that our relationship started off because of such drama. So what do you think? I know that what we did was wrong, but can you honestly say that it was that bad?